se Irena Marek Brejchová, jsem maminka 2 krásných dětí a podnikám v oblasti network marketingu na profesionální úrovni. Troufám si říct, že v tom nejdůležitějším, co máme, a to je oblast zdraví, konkrétně střevního mikrobiomu. Také se zajímám o seberozvoj a tvořím podcastový projekt Nikde se nevzdávej. Těšte se na dalšího hosta.
Krásný den. Dneska mám tady poprvé nový rozhovor. A to poprvé v životě můj rozhovor v anglickém jazyce. Moje angličtina není perfektní, ale čekat na to, až bude, tak to bychom si toho nemuseli dožít. A tenhle rozhovor je pro mě zásadní. Takže já přepnu do angličtiny a vítám tady skvělého hosta. Hello, welcome. I have today amazing person in our project Never Give Up. It's an American director. I met him in Czech Republic in Prague on his movie Mom's Rising. First time I saw him on a stage, he was standing there, and I saw beautiful eyes full of gratitude, compassion, and I was so surprised of this person. So I am very happy that we can have this man in this project Never Give Up. Thank you that you are here, Scott. Here is an American director, Scott Cervine.
Hello, ahoy! Nice to see you. Hey, I see that we match. We've got the Never Give Up uniform.
Absolutely, yes, it's nice. So, first question for Scott: who are you? What can you tell about yourself?
That is a really good question. Who am I? Let's see. Who am I? I'm a father. I have a couple of extraordinary kids. I'm a media maker. I love making films that inspire and hopefully bring a sense of hope to people. That's my absolute favorite theme. And my current mission is to just create connection with people all around the world through cinema. I think movies can be kind of a universal language. They can help us share our stories. They can help us open our hearts. And so that's what I love. And that's what gets me up every morning, gets me out of bed, because I'm excited about the next film that I can make. So, yeah, simple answer. I guess I'm a simple person. Yeah.
Which movie did you create?
Well, let's see. I've been doing it for well over 20 years. And so I've made a handful of feature-length documentaries. I'm probably best known for films like The Shadow Effect, which is a movie about the parts of our personality that we pretend like we don't have. We all have them. It's and that film was on the Oprah Winfrey channel here. I don't know if you're aware of that over there where you are, but it was there for quite a while. And that's where a lot of people have connected with my work. And then I also made Think and Grow Rich, the movie, which is based on one of the top 10 most widely read books of all time here in the U.S. I'm assuming it has some popularity there as well. Mm-hmm. And then I made a film called Mom's Rising, which is very near and dear to my heart because it's about extraordinary mothers and some of the stories that these mothers have lived, the lives that they've lived, just open my heart and inspire me every day. So there's 3 for you. Many more to come.
Okay, you told 3 movies that we know. I really appreciate work and cooperation, you and Petr Štěpánek, because we know this film and they have also subtitles and it's possible to buy them. So I think that we can put a link under this interview and people can see your beautiful movies.
Yeah, the thing about Peter Stepanek is he's living that life that we're all reading about in these books. He's living it every day. So a great inspiration.
Yeah, that's great. Scott, can you tell us something about your childhood? How was it?
Childhood. You know what? Honestly, I had a great childhood, just like the best you could ever imagine. And I never take it for granted because I know not everyone has that. But I had these extraordinary parents that were both just filled with spirit. They were so enlightened and alive and happy and supportive. Do you know, I don't have a single memory from my entire childhood when I didn't feel the complete and absolute support of both of my parents. And I know that that can be rare sometimes. So it's one of my most valued memories, one of my most valued gifts as a person was being raised by these two people. Del was my dad's name, Del and Bonnie. Del and Bonnie Cervine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great memories. Interestingly enough, they always encouraged me to go after what I loved. You know, whatever my interest was, they were behind me 100%. Whether it was magic as a magician, as a younger man, or film, cinema, whatever it was, they were completely supportive. Now imagine that. I can't remember a single negative comment from either of them. It was always, what can we do to support you? That sounds great, Scott. What can we do to support that dream you have? So I'm one of the lucky ones. Very fortunate to have had that upbringing.
Wow, I'm surprised because I have never listened to something like this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You're right. Okay, so you were a magician. Why magician?
Really was. Yeah, I've always been attracted to the essence of magic. To me, a great magician is not someone who tricks you or fools you. It's someone who inspires you to experience wonder. They create kind of a stage play or something in person where just for a short amount of time, you suspend your disbelief and you believe that the miraculous is possible. To me, that's a great magician. They're more about inspiring wonder as opposed to tricking you or fooling you. So that's what drew me to the craft initially. And then you'd be surprised how many film directors started off or dabbled in magic. And I think it's because it's a very similar craft. You know, it's about inspiring wonder in the audience. So I auditioned for, as a very young dude, when I was about 15, a place called the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and got in. There were about 85 people there auditioning, hoping to get in. And I think they only took 4 at the time, so I was felt very fortunate, and studied there with some of the greatest magicians in the world until I was 21, and then toured the world. And boy, what a great way to see the world, doing your magic all over the world. That was really exciting. And then while I was on the road performing, I came across this bookstore that had a book about filmmaking, and it just lit me up. I'm like, oh, it almost felt like I could tell stories on an even bigger canvas, because cinema seemed so unlimited to me. So it sparked a lot of interest in me. And then, a few years went by, and I just decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge, and made my first film, and didn't have any idea what I was doing. None whatsoever. I had no training at all. I just walked into a room, wrote a script, and shot a feature-length film within about 2 months, which is just crazy. It's unheard of. And the film itself is not great. But you know what is great? All the things that I learned from that process. I think I learned more from that first film, which could be looked at as not very good, as just some of the greatest times like being in a university. I learned so much about filming and editing and working with actors. It was just like a master's degree, because I was actually in the process doing it, not just reading about it. So yeah, that was kind of the transition from magic into cinema. And then once I started making films, I just could not stop. So exciting. Yeah.
And how did you manage to have like a job as magician and start and being the director?
Yeah, it was a very, in a way, it was a very graceful transition, fortunately, because, you know, you've heard countless stories about filmmakers having no money and charging their credit cards. And fortunately, I did not have to do that. I was very successful as a magician. And so by night, I'd be on stage doing my illusions. And most days I'd be studying cinema, and spent years just devouring every book I could on the craft of cinema and watching every film that I could. I have a vivid memory, for example, of being in Berlin, in Germany, for about a year, and every night, 7 shows a week at the theater, and every day riding home on the subway, just reading books about filmmaking and just immersed in it. So again, how lucky was I to have this beautiful thing called magic to sustain me while I was studying the craft of motion pictures. It was such a gift. So that's kind of how I did it. Yeah.
Wow,
Hmm.
sounds amazing. And it sounds peaceful and easily. So can you tell us something if something was like more difficult in your life? So for
Yeah, I don't.
did you have any time that you want something give up?
Oh, yeah. Just to be totally honest, of course, any artist has that. I have that all the time. I think you'd laugh out loud if you knew how often I had doubts. But I think the difference is, do you focus on the doubt? It sounds obvious to say, but you can either focus on the doubt or you can reignite your dream and focus on what you want to create. And even if your mind gets off track a little bit and you get in a little doubt, it's okay. That's meant to happen. You just reorient towards the fire, the enthusiasm about what you want to create. And that's how I do it. But I don't mean to sugarcoat it too much. Do you know sugarcoat?
No.
Like make it too perfect. Like it's not just, a seamless, peaceful, floating trip down the path of creativity. Oh, it's not at all. In fact, I think the bigger your dream is, or for me, the bigger the project is, the more adversities come up. So the bigger if I try to make a whole movie, oh my goodness, there's a universe of adversity that comes up. But I think after doing it all these years, you get better at navigating through it. And you know what the best tool is for navigating through adversity? Just having it be okay that it's there. I can't tell you as a younger man how many times an adversity would come up and I would make it mean something. I'd be like, uh-oh, see, I must not be talented enough. I must not be right for this job. I must not. As opposed to just going, oh, there's an adversity, reorient my focus on what I want and moving through it. So I think that's the greatest thing that I've learned personally on the creative path is just expecting the adversities to come up and finding a way to actually use them as fuel, So I hope that makes sense, but that's how I do it.
Yeah. This is also a little bit like your film. It's not about shadows, but I have listened to you when you were speaking about shadows, and it's your movie Shadows Effect. I think that you use something similar with your shadows. Can you tell us more about this?
Definitely, yeah. I was fortunate to spend quite a bit of time with author Debbie Ford, and the film The Shadow Effect is based on her life's work. And so she was so articulate about what the shadow is, and I would sometimes in a joking way, I'd go, all right, tell me one more time. What is the shadow? And one time she turns at me and she goes, the shadow is as simple as this. It's everything you're pretending not to be. I was like, oh, wait a minute. What does that mean? But it is kind of that simple. It's just the sides of our personality that we pretend like we don't have. And the more we pretend like they're not there, the bigger those aspects get. So if I pretended like my doubt was not there, it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But if I go, okay, it's normal to doubt, especially as an artist, then you can kind of invite that doubt in and go, all right, dude, what do you need? Do you need a little rest? What do you need? And by interacting with that doubt, for me, I do it like it's a real person, like it's a real friend. And I go, what do you need? As a younger man, I would shove you away and try to keep you outside. But now I invite that aspect of myself because it is a part of me. My shadows are a part of me, who I am. And it's any of those challenging things that we think of as bad things or we think of as blocks. They can turn into beautiful assets. Carl Jung, famous U.S. psychologist, coined that phrase, the gold is in the dark. And he just meant that people can become more of who they really are by not only discovering what their shadows are, but by embracing them. And it's tough for people to hear that sometimes because they think it means, oh, you're condoning some negative action, which you're never doing that. It's never about saying, oh, that part of harming someone else is okay. No, absolutely not. It's about a more intimate relationship with these thoughts that you have that could be perceived to be negative. How are you going to deal with that negative thought when it comes up? You got to shove it away, or you're going to go, okay, I'm a normal human being on a vibrant, creative path. It's natural to have those thoughts. What am I going to do now? Maybe I can just sit with that thought. Maybe I can invite it in. And then a funny little thing I do, I don't know if others do it or not, but once I've done that, then I can actually ask those parts for help. Like if my doubt is sitting there in a chair next to me, in my mind, in my imagination, instead of him just sitting there like a lump, I'll go, well, what do you think about this problem? You have any ideas for me? And I see this aspect of myself which has felt beaten down and like rejected, kind of sit up and go, well, you're asking me? And just that little interaction, I know some people probably think I'm completely crazy. It's just that little interaction with my doubt changes it. And in a way, it turns it into an asset, you know? And just the sheer freedom of not being at the mercy of these negative thoughts is wonderful. It's such a gift. So yeah, I highly recommend shadow work. I highly recommend reading about it or seeing a film about it. And then just try to identify, well, what are your shadows? And it's not pointing out things that are wrong with you. It's about discovering aspects of you that you've had your whole life that can actually make you a stronger, more fulfilled, more complete human being. You might even fall in love with those parts of yourself. You know, I have some of my biggest doubts, what I thought were negative thoughts. I've gone, oh, that's just because I care. And so it gives you a different way to think about all those doubts that you have in your mind. And it's quite beautiful work. It's really something. And so I hope I've done a good job of articulating in the film that it's in a way, it's to be celebrated. You know, the extraordinary Deepak Chopra has a line almost exactly like that in our film. In this film that I directed, he says, you know, once you discover your shadow, just kind of watch it for a while. And he says, celebrate it. And when he said celebrate it on camera, something in me changed. I'm like, okay, here's one of the wisest guys I know. He's talking about the shadow and he's saying celebrate it. That simple phrase had a big impact on me. So I always encourage people to not only discover their shadows, because it's really just discovering more of who they are, and then finding a context that feels right to celebrate it.
Wow.
That's kind of a long answer to a short question.
Beautiful. Thank you for it. And I think many people would love to see your movie Shadow Effect. So we will put the link there. So it's right.
Well, great.
Yeah. Amazing.
One.
Yeah. I was so focused what you were talking that I forgot question. But it's absolutely okay. Yeah. I know what I mean. Which your movie do you like the most?
Oh, can't answer that question. It's really tough because, you know, it's funny when you're in it, when you're making a film, it really becomes like one of your kids. I mean, you love it so much and you pour your heart into it. And then when other people come aboard, like when we're making Moms Rising, these extraordinary women come aboard. Just extraordinary. Wow, when I said Moms Rising, the electricity in my whole building went. Oh, interesting. The power of the divine feminine is coming through the lights. Yeah. But yeah, when I started making a film and working with these extraordinary mothers, man, I was just so enlivened by them, and it fueled me. It fueled my process. So yeah, the synergy of making a film is extraordinary. You get all those people together in one room, and it really creates a wonderful kind of safe womb for anything to happen. Any adversity can be traversed. Any sort of sharing can come out. An actor can have a moment that they've never had before because they felt safe on the set. You know what I mean? That's why I think I get really good performances from actors, is because I fine-tune the environment. I create an environment that actors, artists, hopefully feel safe enough to just, open their hearts.
I know that you are preparing a new project in Czech Republic. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, my favorite thing, absolutely, my favorite thing about films is when I screen them with people, it creates this sense of connection with people in the theater. And it's great to watch them online as well. But I even love more when you're in a live, with a live audience. So yeah, I'm going to do a series of screenings called The Power of Positive Cinema. And we'll be showing clips from all of my films, a retrospective, if you will, that I've made ever since I started making. So just a scene from Think of a Rich, a scene from Mom's Rising, that kind of thing. And we'll fill the evening with not only these short scenes, but also discussion and interaction and people sharing how it made them feel and why this clip from The Shadow Effect maybe made them think about the shadow for the first time. And I'm so excited about that because to me, it's the interaction with the audience is one of the most exciting things about cinema. That's actually why I'm here. That is my mission statement, just to create positive cinema that inspires people. So to be able to get to see that firsthand, it's priceless. So yeah, very, very excited about that project.
Wow, amazing. And what are your another goals and vision, what you want to create?
Well, I have 6 scripts sitting right on my desk here that are all extraordinary stories in various stages of development. Some of them are just scripts. Some of them have budgets and schedules attached. So yeah, I'm kind of looking for new partners to co-create on these projects for the future. Some very exciting stuff coming up.
Wow. And do you want to create new films?
Yes, yeah. Like to give you one example, I have a script about Helen Keller, who you may or may not know, but extraordinary person, one of the most amazing lives I've ever seen, witnessed from the past. And so I have a full-length script called Helen and Annie. Screenplay is by Cynthia Whitcomb, who is just one of the greatest screenwriters in the universe. And I'm so excited to have that script and be in pre-production on it, which means envisioning how you're going to shoot it, where you're going to shoot it, who you're going to film it with. Very, very exciting.
Seems interesting.
Yes. Well,
Okay, great. And how do you manage? You told us you have 6 projects. How do you manage deal? How do you decide which project will you focus on?
yeah, that's a really good question. I have a piece of paper,
Yeah.
my high-tech approach, and I make these lines and I put all the projects on there. And then you wake up in the morning and you just kind of feel drawn to one. And what I've learned to do now is to kind of make movement on all of them. And then at some point, one kind of pulls away from the rest. Because I found that if I hold on too tightly, like if I say, all right, I'm just going to make this movie, I'm going to make nothing else, then sometimes it can slow me down. But if I have all 6 of those projects on the page and every morning I wake up and I go, which one am I drawn to? Which one can I make movement on today, right now? And it might be as simple as a phone call or an email saying, hey, did you read this script I sent? Do you think we could collaborate on it? And so every day I move forward, but I try to hold it lightly. So I'm not as like, oh, I've got to get this one movie done by this date. So that's what I'm trying right now. And we'll see how I do.
It seems interesting.
Oh.
Like open. I have never listened to something like this, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I will try.
Well,
Thank you for it.
yeah, because you never know who you're going to align with. There may be somebody clear on the other side of the world that's like, oh my God, I would love to make that movie about Helen Keller. But you just never put it out there. So that's why I try to be a little bit vocal about all these projects. Because you never know when the right alignment is going to come. There might be somebody out there right now who's like, I would be so proud and honored to help you make this film about Helen Keller. I mean, that kind of thing happens all the time. So I think it's up to me as an artist to just keep putting it out there. Keep celebrating these extraordinary stories by this screenwriter, Cynthia Whitcomb, who in my book is one of the best. And the right alignment will come. Of course, I get impatient sometimes and I kind of get in my own way because I'm like, oh, I can't wait to make this movie. But I'm also getting better at just relaxing into the process and trusting, having faith that the right partner come along, the right funding, the right people, the right producers, the right actors, everything. Those will come flowing to me if I just keep moving forward. And the most important thing, never give up.
Yes, this is Well, this is my other question. What does it mean for you sentence, never give up?
Yeah, I think it's right about that. It's a very important phrase to me. I was immediately drawn to the idea of your podcast the second I saw the title, because when I saw that never give up, I thought, all right, what does that mean for me? And for me, it's about finding a way to never give up that keeps me in a place of joy, that keeps me in a place of positivity. Because for me personally, it just doesn't work to just grit my teeth and, I'm never going to give up. I need to find a way to be peace and in flow and enjoy while I'm never giving up. So yeah, finding out how you never give up is a really interesting inquiry. It's a really interesting thing to think about. And I'm successful some days and some days I'm not, but that's what I try to do, and never give up in a way that's always feeling positive and grounded and moving forward. Takes a lot of trust, takes a lot of commitment.
Okay, so also do you have sometimes bad days?
Oh, all the time. And I vocal about this like with younger filmmakers, because they're like, I started making this film and then I just couldn't finish it. And I try to lovingly go, so what? What are you doing today? Get back up, get started. One of my favorite people from the U.S. is Maya Angelou, who's in heaven now, but she would always have that phrase, and still I rise. And she had this great quote. I'll have to look up the exact wording of it, but something about what defines you is not the adversity that happens. What defines you is how you rise. How do you get back up? How do you move on after you've been knocked down? That's what life is all about, or it can be if you choose it that way. So I'm inspired by that. But yeah, every day, almost every day. I also have thoughts of like, well, can I do this, or doubt, or do I even want to do this? But it doesn't matter. If you have a divine purpose, if you're keyed into your purpose in life, then that will get you through any adversity.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I know that we spoke together about your happiness, about like person. How do you think that you are happy usually in your, for example, week?
oh, were we about the like the percentage of happiness?
Exactly.
Like sometimes
Yes.
I have a couple of extraordinary brothers and an amazing sister, and we sometimes joke about that. All right, what's your number this week? Were you 95% happy or 40% happy? And yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm about 85% happy, which I think is a pretty good number.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one very funny friend who is always like, 85? I'm like 4%. Well, I felt better. But you know what I feel really strongly about, and I think is so true, is that number is because you choose it. Or for me, I won't speak for anybody else. For me, I'm 85% happy because I choose that. I choose to be happy that much of the time. I don't wait for it to come to me. I find a way to do it. I'm committed to it,
And how do you do this?
Another excellent question. You're really good at this. Honestly, some things I've never shared, some of the simplest things in the world work great. Like the other morning I woke up and it was one of those mornings where you just didn't want to get out of bed. It was a little too cold, a little too late. You had a little too many things to do. I just like, I don't know. And so I did that old-fashioned thing of just putting on a really uplifting song and let the music just blare through my whole house. And that did it. It got me up, got me going. Or sometimes if I'm really blocked, I'll take a really hot shower and then a really cold shower. And it's something about that changes my state,
Do you work with your inside of your head?
Yeah, I do. I'm not great at meditating. I'm trying to get better at it. But I do that sometimes. Yeah, I'll just stop and I'll meditate, or I'll do a guided meditation. It is really helpful. I don't honestly know why I have such a resistance to it when I know how well it works. But almost every time I do it, it works. So I do that. I do that pretty much on a daily basis. Yeah.
Thank you. And I know that you have one project that you are not working on it now, but it's also your focus, and it's about your dad and your
Oh, yeah.
relationship between you and dad. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah. It's eventually going to be a podcast and a project, and it's called Between Worlds.
Mhm.
And those two words came up in some automatic writing that I was doing with my dad.
Mhm.
So when my dad died, it was the biggest thing in my life. Really knocked me out. One of the most challenging things I'd ever navigated. But shortly after he died, I picked up a pen and started doing some journaling, and really felt like I heard his voice right in my ear in a very intimate way. So for years now, I've been writing down this conversation between he and I. And now I just do it with the iPhone. I'll ask my dad questions on the iPhone, and then I'll listen to what he says back and just kind of repeat it. And so I have all this content that I'm going to put into a sort of book form, audio form, and just share it. I don't know if anyone will resonate with it, but it's very inspiring for me. My dad was a really wise, wonderful mountain man, an extraordinary guy. And he seems to be even wiser in heaven. So lots of questions. And just in my imagination, imagine what he's saying back. And some of the things he says are so beautiful and so poignant and so wise. And so then I'm also going to do a podcast called Between Worlds, where I talk to other people that are doing the same thing. They've maybe lost someone and they're now communicating with them on the other side. And, some people think of that as sort of woo-woo. I don't know if you say that in chat. Woo-woo kind of. But it's becoming very normal here. So many people do it. And it's as simple as your imagination. Just imagining what that person that you love so much might answer back. And it's the imagination is not, to me, it's not making things up. The imagination is the key. It's kind of the bridge between that spirit, soul, however you hold it on the other side, and your conscious self in the now. So that's just a very simple process that I've used. It's as simple as a notebook and a pen or a recording device and a phone, and then just committing to that love, that really strong love that you had in life, and using that connection to connect you now with that soul in the afterlife. That's how I hold it.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two last questions.
Yes.
Do you have any secret what you have never told to anybody?
Wow, boy, that's a good question. A secret that I've never told to anybody.
Or to some friend, but not to some
Yeah.
interviewers.
Well, I'll just tell you the first thing that popped into my head. It may not be what you're looking for, but I do have something that looks like an Oscar statue.
Yes.
The Oscars?
Yes.
Academy Award.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I have repeatedly held that statue in my hands and rehearsed my speech for when I win the Oscar as Best Actor. And sometimes people ask me about that. They go, well, are you attached to winning? Is that important? And you know what? It's really not about that. It's just about the pure, unadulterated excitement of dreaming that big.
Yes.
Will I actually get that moment? Maybe, maybe not. But just the fact that I'm doing everything I can to reach for that moment, I think fuels me with some extra added energy, fun, excitement, tools. So yeah, I've never really shared that I stand in my kitchen with my fake Oscar. Won't that be fun when I win, though? I can tell this story.
Yes,
I can go,
definitely.
you don't know how many times I held on to the pepper shaker. This speech.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And the last one. What can you tell to our viewers or people who are watching you? What can you tell them or recommend them?
Oh, are there people watching?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question. Well, it's interesting because I have such a special place in my heart for Czech. I've never, hadn't gone before Peter invited me over there. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I just fell in love with the people. And by that, I mean everybody that I met, the souls that I felt, the love, the openness, the warmth that I felt just knocked me out as an artist, as a man, as a human, And it actually gave me a lot of faith because there are some crazy things going on in the world right now, as we all know. Look at my country. My goodness. It is a very uncomfortable time for me as a U.S. citizen over here. I don't know what to make of much of it, but I do know that there's one thing that is unstoppable, and it's that human connection that we all feel when we share our stories. And that may be too trite or too maudlin for some, but for me, it's so true. No matter how unsettled I feel about what's going on in my government or my life or my world, I know that every time I choose to go out and share one of my stories, which, by the way, inspires others to share their personal stories with me, those are the moments that I feel unstoppable. Those are the moments that I feel like I can navigate anything because of that synergistic energy that goes between us. So, what do I have to say to you fine folks? I say thank you for opening heart and you're opening to the possibility of this connection, because that's indisputable. Doesn't matter how you feel about what's going on in the world. The indisputable truth is that we have a potential within to connect with each other that is staggering and beautiful and bold and unstoppable.
Thank
I
you.
don't know. That's what.
Thank you. It was very strong. Thank you for it. Thank you, Scott, that you were here in our project Never Give Up. That you, okay, I really appreciate it, and thank you. I wish you the best of your creation and the best in your life.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And just thank you.